Welcome on into the Wild Willie podcast show. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby. Big Willie, what's going on with you?
Oh, JJ, the world is going round and round. Thank you once again for everybody that continues to support us, listen to us. Once again, we are on Spotify. You can check us out on YouTube, and we are trying to do the damn thing. Episode 2 of the Belle Collective dropped Friday, JJ. A lot to get into. First, your thoughts.
Ooh, Big Willie, all I can tell you, it looks like it just gets juicier and juicier every week. It don't seem to goddamn it don't fail you, Big Willie. There's always something gonna come that's just gonna get your attention one way or another.
Now that you've had an opportunity to step back and look at the season in its entirety, or maybe not even that, now that you've had an opportunity to see it, episode 1, episode 2, is there anything that's like, man, I can't believe that has happened? Is there anything that has shocked you thus far?
I'm going to be honest with you. A whole lot of it. It's just the things got done that people are saying that we didn't know about far as ourselves, that people got done it, saying. You be like, oh, dang, for real? I mean, that's me? Oh, dang, did I do that? Oh, this what they saying? Like they know your life a whole lot better than you, Big Willie. It's like they got done it, got you figured out. They known you all your goddamn life, and they can tell you about you. I mean, what you supposed to be doing, what you didn't goddamn do, all the goddamn Twitters and everything. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. They was goddamn doing this before goddamn that, and they don't know her, they don't know me, they don't know you, they don't know Aikisha, they don't know goddamn Glenn, they don't know Latif, they don't know nothing about nobody on the goddamn show, but they can tell you everything about you that's going on. I guess that's what make reality shows reality.
One of the things that happened this episode was my wife was able to kind of talk. And for those who watched the Belle Collective this past Friday, Aikisha has been talking honestly and from her heart about how menopause has been affecting our family and her and our relationship. And one of the things that I'm learning with women is never tell a woman how she should feel. So I made the awful mistake of saying, you're going from crazy to, feeling good to back and forth. And as I go through this journey with my wife in menopause, I'm realizing a lot of women are experiencing a multitude of things, from physical, mental, spiritual, all type of things. And it's shocking to the body, mind, and spirit. And so I was able to make a little bit light of it, but I think a lot of people was like, Willie, now you bugging. Like, menopause is real, perimenopause is real. And my wife has been dealing with it. And so on top of that, we talked about how it's affected us and from the bedroom to our family dynamic to her just really just trying to figure out what's going on with her each and every day or every time she has a flash, a hot flash, if you will. And with that, she was able to introduce her pajama line, Band Blue, which is for all the women out there who feel like they're on fire while they're sleeping. My wife's pajamas do a hell of a job of keeping your body cool, allowing you to sleep through the night without flipping the sheets back and forth because you're sweating up the bed. So that's been great. I do think right now, for everything we've seen on the episode, with everything we've seen on this past episode, one of the things that pissed me off was the introduction. The introduction to the Belle Collective. If you see it, it's been all over social media. It's been talked about on a lot of different platforms. People who follow reality TV and social media have noticed. My wife came out with a tweet. And she was disturbed. She was upset that they chose the opening of the show with her clapping her cheeks and kind of doing a twerk dance. And that's not my wife, right? And for those that don't know, when we were shooting the intros, we had to go through a multitude of scenarios of, hand gestures, face, walks, and dances and all that other stuff. And the one they chose for my wife out of everything she did that day was her, kind of shaking her butt. By the way, she was playing around, and that was supposed to be off camera. She was really playing with the cast while she was on set, and then she was going back to doing what they were asked to. That should have never been shown. It should have never even been an option. And so, as her husband, it pissed me off because I know it pissed her off. And also it pissed me off because that's a bad reflection of my wife. If you follow my wife's storyline, you know she's about etiquette. She's about representing us and the family and herself in a very real and respectable way. And out of all the girls, if you watch the introduction to Belle Collective, nobody's doing what my wife. Nobody's dancing. Nobody's doing what my wife is doing. It's one thing if all the girls are dancing and kind of have something going on. That's not at all. All the girls are striking a pose, looking at the camera, and showing their fierceness, if you will. My wife, out of all the people, is the one kind of doing something that's not what we appreciate or represent. So it hurt me to see her hurt.
You go into into filming thinking it's going to be one way, but then when you see it, when it come out, it's another. It's like, okay, now it's like you're trying to make me look different than something that I am. I mean, that I'm not. And it's like you're trying to portray me in this image when everybody know who I am really in the image that, they see me every day. And it's like you're trying to paint this scale of who you want me to look like on TV when everybody out here know who I really am in real life. So, it's stop trying. It's like the show is getting away from the businesses. It's getting away from everything that it's supposed to be about. And it's like they're painting it. Don't matter what you do or say, they're edited the way they want you to look in front of their eyes as far as how they want you to see. And then, just like anything else, when you see a character, anything on TV, I don't care if you see them in real life and see them in person, got done it or not. You're not going to think about the man got done it that man really is. You're going to got done and think about the image that you saw him on TV.
You see,
and that's the way you're going to got done and see him. You ain't going to see him no other way. He can be got done it straight, whatever. But if you see him in another way on TV, that's how you're going to look at him.
I was saying I agree with that because I think it's hard for people to separate what they see on TV and who you are in real life, and not to their fault. If they don't know you, the only first reaction or even know anything about you is on TV, they're going to believe what they see. I think in your case, JJ, because your situation solely affects a lot of people, your daughters, your ex, Gucci,
which still ain't right to this day.
Right. So that's another thing. I want to pivot, man.
Hold up.
One of the things that they showed
I want to say on that too, before you go to the next thing. If I'm not mistaken, don't we put a lot of hard work as men on this show too?
I think I do. I know you do for sure. I think you put more work into it than I do, actually.
Well, Big Will, I got one question for you. How is it that we go buy new suits, spend money, do all the stuff we supposed to do as a character for the show when it come on, but got done it, they show us last season, but they don't show us this season? What happened, Big Willie?
JJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. As you're talking, I just picked that up. I didn't even think about it. I know what you're saying. So for everybody out there,
I spent some money. Big Willie got done it trying to look fly, and it's like got done it, you're spending money for nothing. That's another thing. Got done it. You don't see nothing but the women, but on all the other shows, you see the women and the men got done it, and all of a sudden the fellas left off.
I didn't even think about it, Jay. I'm gonna be honest. I know. So what JJ is saying, when we shot the intros, we had to get a whole new wardrobe, and a lot of things we did throughout the season. We had to buy our own clothes, which is what it is. But especially for the intros, we were told to be at our best, if you will. And so I think everybody made a conscious effort, the whole cast, to go out and put on to look dapper and donnish and kind of be a compliment to our Belle and to our wives. And the intros, you don't see us anywhere. And so we spent an hour there. And I'm thinking, and to JJ's point, like, if we're going to buy the suits and we're going to do all this stuff and we're going to spend an hour or two or three in a studio, why weren't we anywhere in the introduction when in the past we were? And now there's some of the feedback on social media, JJ, that the intro was so bad, not solely because, I'm saying this because how they depicted my wife, but a lot of people are upset because it looked cheesy and it looked like it was on Tubi or something, right? Like when you're saying you're on the OWN network and this is Oprah's network, there is a sense of prestige that comes with it. For it to look the way it looked and for my wife to be depicted in that manner and for us not to be even included in the intro when all our storylines are intertwined and connected, it's like, how did we drop the ball?
Thank you.
Like, what the hell is really, really going on? And so I'm with you, Jay. I honestly didn't think about it till you said something. And so, yeah. So there is a lot of mixed emotions and frustrations, especially from this way. I think JJ and I just like, he's upset how he's being depicted, and I'm upset what they did to my wife in the intros. And, this is the real behind reality TV.
Most definitely.
This is where we're at. JJ, in the latest episode, you did something for me that no man has ever done. You brought me a sex toy. You brought me a fleshlight. And the theme of this episode here on the Wild Willie Podcast Show is sex, man. JJ, sex is something we talk about with our wives, and sometimes we talk about amongst us, that it's something that we lack. As much as we want it, we don't get it, and our wives give us a lot of reasons why they don't give it to us. And then we have to adhere to it. I'm going to be honest. The sex toy threw me for a loop. It came with whips. It was like a fleshlight, and it was a bunch of whips and paddles. And I thank you. I'm very thankful for it. As I stated, it just looked used. JJ, I got to ask you this. Outside of what you brought me, what does your bedroom look like? Like, what do you have a shitload of sex toys?
Big Willie, I'm gonna be honest with you, goddamn it. I had to get you that coochie in the can because sometimes a little foreplay, goddamn it, it's just right for the moment when the moment is right. And of course, we got a few toys, goddamn it, we deal with, and everything. And we gotta crank that motor up a little bit, see what works, Oh yeah, Big Willie, you gotta get on that paraton and blow on. You got and make that thing vibrate, Big Willie.
Okay. Yep. Man, so as we mentioned, man, this episode is about sex. We're going to talk to our lovely wives and a very special guest, Mandii B from WHOREible Decisions. She's going to be joining me and JJ. Come on back to Wild Willie Podcast Show. Welcome on into the Wild Willie Podcast Show. We kicked JJ out the seat, and we brought in his right hand, his assassin, the hitman, the true Belle herself, SoGucci's in the house. What's up, SoGucci?
Absolutely. Hello. I can't believe I'm on this
platform.
Cut
it out. You've been here before. Don't even start. I do got to ask you this. I think one of the things that we're learning amongst all the couples on the show is that everybody kind of moves at their own beat. I think you guys are, once again, are open and honest about where you guys are at. And JJ and you guys both have this youthful enthusiasm about how you guys roll. But I want to say this, man, for a lot of couples who are going through it and trying to spice up the bedroom, what are some things that you suggest?
I mean, first of all, you really got to have an open communication. I feel comfortable discussing things with Jay, what makes me feel good, what doesn't make me feel good. And just to be honest, Willie, before Jay, I wasn't as open with my sexuality. I didn't know, is it okay for me to say this? Is it okay to say, this is not feeling like I wanted to feel? I'm able to express my sexuality with Jay really well, and we're open. We're not afraid to try new things. If I'm gonna be with him to death do us part, we gotta experiment. He don't want me going experiment with somebody else. So that's the good thing that I like about Jay. Sometimes I'm like, Jay, I don't think my body can twist that way. But one thing I can say that, I'm going through menopause as well. And me being able to communicate with him, to sit down, and it's not just me, he's going through it with me. So he's got to be able to understand that my body's going to change, my hormones going to change, and my urge for sex is going to change too.
I think one thing that helps you guys out too is you guys, you're empty nesters. You don't have little ones outside of the grandkids crawling around your house like Aikisha and I. I think when I talk to JJ, it seems like he's open and willing to do it anywhere and everywhere. But if there's one memory that pops out in your head with you and JJ, where's the wildest place you guys ever done it?
I think on the hood of a car.
Really? JJ, you nasty dog. Was this in Mississippi?
With the motor hot, so my ass was hot.
Was this in Mississippi?
Yes, in Mississippi, in the summer, on the hood of a car.
Ooh, that thing was hot.
My face facing the stars, and my ass facing the motor.
Last, before I get you out of this chair, episode 2 dropped this past Friday. A lot happened. A lot was said. A lot has been said behind the curtain. Give me your thoughts. How do you feel about it?
Well, I just, people have a lot of opinions about, my situation, Jay's situation. I mean, they're not therapists, and this is real what we're going through. There's some things that I don't agree with the show. There's some things that I do agree with. I just think the ladies, we should just, there's still some mistrust. There's still some mistrust between the ladies that needs to be worked out. This season, Willie, I do see a lot of growth within me on this season, and I'm proud of it. And I got a chance to learn more about me through this show. I can say that. I can say that, and I'm more vulnerable, and people are going to see a different side of me that they don't know. They're speculating now, like this lady is this and that. And it's not about comparing me to anybody on the show. It's about just the growth that I had, on this season.
Well, thank you, SoGucci. I appreciate you.
I think everybody I like this. Put Aikisha on. We're going to keep it like this, and she can kick you out.
We are here in the man cave. I'm here with my other half, Aikisha Holly Cologne.
Your better half.
Do you want to come back?
Willie, you better be happy I'm here.
Episode 2 of the Belle Collective dropped, if you will.
I am so tired of everybody saying the Belle Collective. It's not called the Belle Collective. It's called Belle Collective. Episode 2 of Belle Collective dropped. All right.
Don't ever correct me on that. Don't ever.
I'm just saying, get it together.
We want to make it a quick one. Your thoughts on episode 2?
The opening. I am speechless. Not really. You and I saw the opening before the world saw it. So when I saw the opening, I was like, no, ma'am. That was something I was doing, playing. I was being funny with the production team because we were trying to find songs for us to do to film with, what they were going to use to sort of, get us in the mood. If anybody's ever done this or know how photo shoots or filming goes, when you're doing things like that, especially main title, they'll put music on to loosen you up, get you in the mood, and then you get direction from the director. We were trying to find me some music because it had been a long day for Willie and me, and we were like running to do that and had some other things to do. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to make this up, but it was the song, the song, I Tell All My, Break It Up. It was something like that, because I do like that song. And I think, it was one of the points I was like, hey, trying to shake my little butt and make that thing clap. But I did not think for once, like it never crossed my mind that would be used as the opening credit. We did so many other scenarios that were actually really cute and fun and then serious and dramatic and like soap opera like. So when I told them, when we viewed this, you and I were together.
Yep.
We were getting ready to film the reunion. I called one of the top people in and I said, hey, I was joking when I did that little move. I do not want to be opening the show. And then I told him I didn't like it. My husband didn't like it. What did you think about, when we saw it?
I've expressed I didn't like it. I don't think it represented us, you, or your storyline or anything like that. You've never danced like that anywhere. I mean, not to say you haven't danced like that, but I'm talking about on the show.
Yeah, but let me say this. I didn't have a problem. Like, yeah, I did it. I'm a fun person, despite popular belief. I like to have fun. I don't mind shaking my ass. But where we are on the main title, if everyone else on there was doing something, dancing, or shaking their butts, and then I come along and was like, oh no, I do not want to be doing this, and I'm not going to do that. Then you could say, hey, yeah, she's being a little stuck up. She's being extra. That wasn't the case. You had everyone looking nice, representing themselves in a nice manner. And it was very, like I always say, like a soap opera. When you open it up, you're being introduced to the ladies. I mean, if you do a little dance, we did little things, but not me shaking my ass. So I was very, very clear. I don't like this. Whoever you have to tell this to, let them know that I don't approve this. I don't like it. And I would like for it to be changed. Now, at that time, I didn't know when the show was going to premiere. So I still knew that there was time for it to be changed. So Friday, you and I were actually getting dressed to go to a party, an event. And the main title, it comes up and I was speechless. I remember you were like, what's wrong? So I got the remote and I rewound it back. And you were like, oh, you know, now when you watch the show, when somebody talks about somebody or brings up somebody's name, they'll put like a cute little, put the person up. Like when for instance, when SoGucci mentioned Selena, and then they had Selena coming on, giving that sexy little like, yeah, boo, bitch, you talking about me. Like, I thought that was so cute. I was just like, oh, okay. Because then, you know, it went along with it. So just say if somebody had said something about me or was, you know, talking about me, and then you had me like, okay, I would have laughed at that. But the opening of the main title, main credits of the show, you have me sticking my ass out, shaking it and licking my tongue out. No. So anyway, we're not going to dwell on that, but I ended up looking at the episode later because I could not get past my disappointment, and them not honoring my request and changing that to something, into something else. So, you know, the show opened with, Letitia and Latrice talking and, you know, I guess trying to make amends. I was surprised that they never addressed what this little setup that they were trying to do with you.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, you were gonna have somebody sliding in your DMs and trying to come at you, trying to come for my man. Like, why?
My man.
I know, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's a waste of energy.
But and I want to know why. Like, I don't understand why people are not okay with a happy couple being on television. Yeah, I guess why is that so boring to you?
Because it's popular for people to have divorces and have mess within their relationships being put on Front Street for people to pick and critique and dig. And I think anytime you do see a couple like us who's very honest and open about who we are and what we want to accomplish as a family and as a couple, I think it becomes somewhat retro in their minds. It becomes boring. And I think that's what how the world perceives a couple that's trying to do things together and strive and grab things together. It becomes like, oh, they must think they're better than everybody else. And it's weird because I think if anything, I'll say this. I know one thing we try to do is expose that we're not perfect with everything we do. I think we try to be honest about when we go through our fights. You go through what you're going through with your menopause. I'm going through what I go through.
It is who we are. I am happy in my marriage. I love him. I don't know what you thought was going to happen if a girl slid into his DMs. And what did you think that Willie is going to risk everything he has, his family life, his wife, his job to go back and forth with some chick in his DM, somebody who, even if it wasn't connected to the people who were trying to set us up, if a chick decided to just out him and put that on Front Street, like we see each and every day on social media, you know, it's really insulting to think that they thought you were that dumb, that you would fall for something like that. How do you feel about that?
They are dumb because I think they read the shade rooms and the ball alerts about athletes who get caught up and with their side pieces and get exposed. And, you know, they shot one in the dark thinking it was going to hit. And it was just a poor attempt at it. So on another note, one of the things that popped up on the show was SoGucci and JJ bringing us sex toys.
Yes, I forgot that was in the episode.
Yeah, the fleshlight and the whips and paddles were interesting.
Oh, JJ.
JJ is amazing because he's a great friend. Great friends know when another friend's in need. So at the time, I was in need of some loving. Loving that we don't get because of the lives we live, especially because you refuse to kick our kids out of the bed, and leads us to have midday loving, which sometimes doesn't happen because our midday is usually occupied with us doing what we need to do for our jobs. With that said, Aikisha Holly Cologne, you've been slacking. You've been moving and grooving, and I get it. But there needs to be an increase.
You know what?
In the lovemaking.
Here we are again with the same. I mean, we discussed this on the episode, and we know that was months and months ago. Did we not just have sex today?
Yeah, but prior to today.
No, stop talking about but. There are a lot of men out here who are in their homes, and they're not getting it at all.
Well, like I don't give a damn about them.
Okay, I mean, but no, you just brought it up.
I'm sorry, guys.
So what I'm saying is, you got sex today. Chill out before you don't get it again.
What's the next time?
I don't know when the next time is.
See, that's the problem.
No.
You know what
you didn't like when I had you on the schedule. I had him on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Barely.
That was an issue.
That you didn't even stick to.
I know, because life has been life and things have been going on. But I'm trying. We're getting back in the groove.
Some of the things I had the opportunity to talk to SoGucci, and I asked her, how do her and JJ keep it hot and spicy? And she went on to say, we try different positions, we have toys. And I also, they're different from us because they're technically empty nesters. They don't really have. Exactly. Right. But we are not empty nesters, and you keep our nest full because the kids have their own room. You allow them in our bed. And then when there's time for us to do it, you're usually exhausted, which I get because I'm sometimes exhausted. But the fact is, you don't make a conscious effort.
I make a conscious effort. We have toys. We try different positions. When we do it, it is absolutely evasive. We do, because we don't make it to the
we're both in our big face. I'm just going to say that.
Sometimes we don't make it to the third or fourth position, but we get at least two in. And this is what I'm saying here. The kids are not they're away at school in the daytime. And you're right. We can get it in sometimes during the day, but at night, listen, I don't know. My kids they're loving being in the bed with me now, but they're not going to want to do that in a couple of years.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot get my kids out the bed, and she refuses to kick them. She refused to kick them out the bed.
No. First of all, our daughter stays in her bed all night. She doesn't come into the room until like early morning. Now, William does get up in the middle of the night and he'll come in and get in the bed with us. But by the time William comes to get in the bed, Willie, we would have done what we were going to do if we were going to do it.
No, because there's times, first of all, that's not true. Because once that head is wrapped and the pajamas is on, the store is closed.
Yeah, once I put on my bamboo pajamas, honey. No, that's not true.
And then there's times where we try to do it. And there's one time we did it, and I'll never forget this. You were on top of me, and we're doing the damn thing. And you were staring at the door like a watchdog.
I did not want my son to come see me riding on top of you, and I just ruined his life.
You're not going to ruin his life?
No.
You were so paranoid. You was like, come on, Willie. Come on, Willie. Come on, Willie. Come on. I'm like, I'm trying. Can you attest the girl that used to walk in our room with the nighty lingerie? And
I'm not walking around with that lingerie with my titties and stuff all out and ass out, and then my son's going to be jumping in the bed with us. I'm not walking around like that. Are you crazy?
Yeah, but now you come to bed like you work the drive-thru at Wendy's.
I come to bed like I'm a tired ass over 40 mom of toddlers who have worn my ass out all day. That's how I come to bed. And we have businesses to run, and we're working on our book. We have a lot of things that we're working on. So
you're working on everything besides me. That's what you're really saying. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, y'all. Listen, can y'all put in the chat some ways that I can, help Willie feel better about, just give me some things that I need to do to get my husband satisfied more than I'm already satisfying him.
Help me.
maybe some ideas. I mean, no, I'm sad. I mean, when you get in there and do what you do, boo, I don't have no complaints at all.
Right. I need frequent flyer miles. That's all. So.
Okay. I'll do better.
All right. So this is you got everything off your chest?
And don't get to slide in his DMs talking about how you can give it to him more regularly.
You can slide it. You can slide all you want. Keisha's the one who's going to probably be replying back to you. She sees more of my DMs than I do. All right. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
WHOREible Podcast Show. Thank you, Aikisha.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
You're never coming back. Welcome on into the WHOREible Podcast Show. I'm Willie Colon, and he is...
JJ, baby, what's going on with your big Willie?
JJ, I don't get excited often, but I'm excited right now. We have Mandii B from WHOREible Decisions, the queen of kink. If you've never listened to her podcast, her and her beautiful co-host, Weezy, they do a phenomenal job. I say that not just from a journalistic point, but from a point for somebody who is maybe not as privileged to how the kink world and how the sexual world is thriving, because I'm a married man and me and my wife kind of do it. You know, how would I categorize ourselves? We're very meat and bun sexual relationship. We just get right to it. There's not a lot of spice, but
it's very vanilla.
It's very a little vanilla, but that's why I have this badass kick-ass podcast with Mandii B and Weezy kind of put me on game. Welcome to the WHOREible Podcast, Mandii.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Yes. I don't think I do many all-man duo pods. So
I gotta jump off. I want to get right into it, man, because when you agreed to do it, I was like, man, I gotta be ready. I gotta be on my shit. Mandii coming. I gotta get my shit together. I'm curious because you're so open, you're so honest about your sex life and this liberation and this lifestyle you live in. Where does that come from? Where does that confidence come from?
Oh, what's crazy is you're probably getting me on the back end of a lot of regret of the things I've shared.
Is that right?
I'm getting older, so I'm not even gonna hold you just even where like society is currently with the swing of the pendulum. So when we started WHOREible Decisions, for those of you who are listening and may be unfamiliar, it's spelled whore, WHOREible, right? And so, I mean, being that within the Black community, we've done so much with reclaiming the N-word, so to speak. Even when we started this show, we were in our 20s. And we kind of were fine with sharing all the things we were doing, but a part of even using that word, right, was to reclaim it. It had a negative stigma on it, a negative connotation that we felt like were put on by the patriarchy, to be very clear. And we're getting into year 8. I started the podcast at 26. I am now 34. And boy, is that a word that is hard to reclaim. So it's been interesting, like my journey where I'm kind of at right now. It's something to where I hold a lot of pride in the fact that I've been able to monetize my life for who I am, right? I code switched a lot in corporate America. I come from accounting. So I was at Goldman Sachs, Ernst & Young. I thought I was going to be a CPA with my own tax firm. Left that shit, do this shit. And now I'm just like, oh Lord. I think the confidence came from at one point, kind of like, you know, I'll be honest, the ignorance of not thinking that everything stays with you forever when you put it on the internet.
But Mandii, you're the face. You're the face. You and Weezy are like the spearhead. Like you guys have led this this cult, if you will, of women who always want to think and walk and talk and be free with their sexuality. And as you mentioned, you lived in a white collar world, right? And so how many women, you know, it's kind of risque for a woman who like gets suit and tie and has to sit proper and there's a decorum about them to like, you know what? I had a threesome Saturday and that shit was awesome. So what like you guys have led that rebellion.
So what you said is like a little bit of my issue right now, right? Being the face of sex, right? There's very little respect for a sexually liberated woman. And so where, again, I have 2 degrees. I've traveled the world. I'm getting a little older. I'm just like, damn, there's so much more to me. But here we are. I feel like, they don't even think hoes know how to read books, or that, that there's anything else that we can fucking talk about besides sex. So I think I'm having like this, not come to Jesus because a bitch don't go to church, but I'm having this crossroad right now with how much I want to be the face of this, because unfortunately, we are in a place that enjoys ignorance. We are in a country clearly that enjoys leaning into their ignorance. And whether you are taught the right way of things or an alternative way of doing things, a lot of people are stuck in their own dumbass ignorance ways and don't want to open their mind to more things. And so I think 8 years into like letting y'all know how great threesomes are, Willie, you listen and you still acting like you over there just the bun and meat as well. So I feel like we become like almost caricatures of what the bedroom could be. And I love that people are entertained by it. But even though they're like, ooh, I love that y'all are so liberated, there's still a lot of judgment that is placed on us living in our truth that, is becoming old trying to get people to see our ways. I don't like that JJ, by the way. I don't know if y'all can see. JJ has been shaking his head like, I told you hoes, you can't hold forever. JJ, that is what your face is giving. I'm not even going to lie.
I'm loving this. I'm just into the conversation. I need some popcorn while I'm sitting here listening to this right here, Big Willie, and got done a nice cold one or a nice glass of wine or some shoot. This is getting interesting. I'm like Big Willie got done it. I don't get excited, but got done it, Big Willie. I'm wide awoke now, boy. She talking my kind of language. Shoot. I'm like a fly when he got done doing his hands like this, getting ready for something. I got to ask you, what is your sign?
First off, what we not going to do is stars and moons this hoe. Because I do not believe, first off, whatever I say, you going to be like, I knew it. I hate when people say, what's your sign?
I love that so much. We ain't going to stars and moons out.
We not doing the stars and moons. Real quick, what do you think I am?
Leo.
And see, this is why I don't stars and moons with a motherfucker.
Why?
You was close with the first letter. I'm a Libra. Oh. And it's why
see
again. That? No, see that nothing. See what I mean? See what I mean? I could have sat here and said I was anything, and he would have been like, I knew it.
See, I'm a Leo, so that's the reason I was out. I'm a Leo, so that's the reason I was thinking that. I'm like, okay, she into this like I'm into this. Okay, let's get this thing going.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I'm a Libra, although I do not believe in any of the stars and moons.
Well, I just want to know, how did you fall into the topic of sex in general and realize that this was the lane for you?
So I'm not going to hold you. Like when me and Weezy first started it, we both lived a wild, nice life in New York City. And literally the start of the podcast was, I bet her she couldn't not fuck this guy that was also living in New York at the time. So I bet her dinner. And then we ended up going out. I ended up linking her for dinner. And I had a condom stuck in my pussy from the night before.
That's what I'm talking about.
Literally, we went to the gyno together. I got the condom out. We both got tested. And it was just like, this is going to be our first episode. And literally, we just were like, at the time, she shared a lot of her information through like her Instagram stories. I've always been open with my tweets and, how I rock. And so we were like, let's just start a podcast. And we leaned heavily into destigmatizing specifically kinks and things like that for the Black community. And now it's taken a life shape of its own.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think. Yeah. Sorry, Jay. I was going to say, I think one of the things I love about you and Weezy's relationship, you guys know a lot about each other. and I think one of the things that helps, I think, like they tell you, especially with working with somebody close, it's good to be with that person off air. And so when you go on air, it's more of a connection. And I feel like there's obviously a connection between you and Weezy.
You want to know what's crazy? Willie, you are so wrong.
Really? You guys don't hang out at all?
At all.
Wow.
We don't talk on the phone. We don't hang out at all. She has her life, I have mine. We come together for the podcast. I think
And so you guys just dump it literally when you see each other.
We know what we know about each other. We know about as much about each other as y'all know about each other, as y'all know about us. So we, if anyone's listened to this, I think it was like within our first year, we had to go to therapy. We were ready to end the show in year 1.
Wow.
We got back as friends after not being friends for about 4 or 5 years. We're both from Orlando, so we've known each other since we were 15, but we stopped being friends early on, reconnected with our friendship when we got back to New York, started the pod, and kind of realized we probably could have dealt without rekindling the friendship, but we both really believed in this show, and the show eventually became bigger than us. And so we're actually together because of the pod, but it's like we're staying married because of the baby, if that makes sense. So it's actually, I think that's what has actually even helped us for as long as we have. Like, we don't let a lot of our personal lives get intertwined with the business. We literally show up for the business, and that's our relationship. I think we get asked a lot about starting a podcast with your friends. Of course, it makes it easier when you're friends with someone, but I tell people now, because I've had another podcast with someone who I guess I considered a friend at one point fail, and both the business and the friendship ended. You either need to be willing to lose the friendship, lose the business, or lose both. Because I think it's very hard to maintain a friendship once you have money involved and business involved and creative and scope of works and things. And then, someone isn't holding their weight necessarily. And there's just a lot of ways in which resentment can build up. I would never, if anyone's listening and you're thinking of starting a podcast with a friend.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's over, JJ.
It's over, Big Willie.
It's been fun. I'll send you a Christmas card.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like men are different. I feel like men are able to fight and tussle and fuck each other's girls and still end up being friends.
I don't know if we're that. You fuck my woman, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Okay, well, you're married, so that's different. But I'm like, in general, I feel like men don't take things as serious. And they're able to maintain. But also, I think it's because y'all are very surface in your friendships anyways. Like,
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as long as y'all play ball at the YMCA together, y'all are besties. Like,
I think we're allowed to get through things easier because I think we're willing to put it on the table, address it. Either we're going to get through it or not. And I think it's very kind of black and white with men like that. Women, y'all motherfuckers build battle. Like it's like a whole lift of shit of petty shit you guys got lined up to go get that hoe.
Yeah.
So you guys are a lot more intricate and deep, and you guys stew on things. Guys are like, listen, either we're gonna fight or not. Mandii, I want to get right into it, man. Coach us up. Two married men. We're both love our wives thoroughly and immensely. Sex right now for I think a lot of married men my age. I'm 41. JJ's a lot older than me. One of the complaints.
The shade.
Hey, but goddamn, I roll like I'm 21, girl.
Hey, but JJ can do black.
Still got jumping them hurdles.
Right, JJ's old, but he can do backflips, which is wild. I want to say this: a common conversation that we have amongst men our age is the ABC. They only have sex on anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas.
But hold up, I like that. ABC. I got to use that, Big Willie.
Yeah.
That's a thing?
That's called the ABC. A lot of married men are dealing with being on a calendar. Oh, I give it to you 2 weeks, 2 days out of the week, right? Well, if you do the percentages, if you will, that's what, 8 times out of 30, you're failing, right?
That's less than 1% of the year.
Correct. So for all us men out there, help us understand why we're not getting sex? Because I tell you first and foremost, before I got married, my wife, first of all, I was getting before my wife, I was getting pussy at a premium.
Like I got to run from it. Hold on, baby. God dang.
I know you were a whore, Willie.
I had my time. All right. I thought it was a no judgment zone. Obviously, we're judging right now. Right? I thought it was a free space.
No, didn't I say we're reclaiming whore? You are an amazing superhero of our person.
I was a caring whore, right? Like I offered three things: dinner, dick, and donuts in the morning. So it was.
Oh nah, that's crazy.
That's what I offered.
DDD.
I Yeah, the DDD. That's all I was offered. Dinner, dinner, drinks, and donuts in the morning. So my point is,
wait. You weren't doing dinner, dick, and deposits?
No, I believe he was. Hold on,
that's the three D.
That sound about like he was
Ds
doing.
I want. This nigga said donuts. Wait, what about the deposits?
There may have been a couple of transactions. I gotta, if we would be totally honest about it, there may have been some transactions. But to fast forward, a lot of our our circles are talking about when before the marriage, our wives are superstars in the bedroom. They would put on the lingerie. They were doing anything. They were willing to take risk in the bedroom. Now that the ring, the house, and the kids are here, all of that is out the window. Right? It's like when Walmart shows up in your town. It's great for the community, but once they hit their mark, they're like, all right, we're out of here, right? And they're left with this big standing building, and it's empty. My thing is, how can we get our women back, Mandy? What can we do?
So I'm not gonna lie, it's so funny because I actually just had lunch with a friend of mine who's married, and he said the same thing. He said, what's crazy is once you get married, you stop having sex. And I'm like, so why the fuck does everyone want to get married? Because that doesn't sound like fun at all. I'll be honest with you. I think the problem is the lack of conversation. I think a lot of husbands, a lot of partners in general, and I can put this on both parties, don't have the conversation. They know that it's happening, but don't know how to bring it to the table. And so when they're kind of like, okay, well, I'm not getting it, they end up just going to find it elsewhere. And I think that the conversation needs to be had. Why is it? Is it that you're not putting in the effort? Because maybe you're not taking her out on dates anymore. Maybe you're not showing attention to her like you did at one point and made her feel wanted and needed. Maybe she's exhausted because she's maintaining the household and dealing with the kids and doing things like that. Like, are you creating those times like, hey, babe, I got my family to watch the kids. We're going to do a staycation in the city. Like, I think that there needs to be intention on both sides. And where if she was this prowess that wanted to jump on your dick every time she saw you, you might have to step back and be like, well, why isn't she doing that anymore for me either? Like, what did I do that maybe now she doesn't want to climb on me? Because, baby, best believe when a man show up the right way, wine and dine you, surprise you with little gifts, it makes you really feel like a desired woman. Our juices start flowing before you even take the panties off.
Oh,
so I think both partners just get comfortable with a routine that then the sex just withers away. But I think a lot of the time it has to do with, finding a way to keep it spicy by making the time to make it spicy, but also showing that you still desire them.
Yeah, I hear that. JJ, I'm gonna let you go after this. I do hear that. I think the flip side of that, men want to feel desired too. I think that's the biggest.
God, y'all, men are bitches. Do you want flowers too?
I don't want the flowers.
Here's the thing.
But we watch enough porn, right? The problem is we all watch porn, right? And the porn we watch, it's never necessarily the man coming into the house to get the girl. It's the man sitting on the couch and the girl comes around the corner, something scandalous. She's like, oh, you had a hard day? And it's like, hawk 2,000 or 3,000 right on the spot. So our imaginations grab onto that. We're like, man, there was a time where she was doing that, and now that's not happening at all. As much as you want to feel desired, men want to feel desired too.
Okay, but if she's in the home doing all the things that you expect for her to do as a wife, that's the other thing too. I have another friend, loves threesomes. But won't have threesome with his wife. So he has threesomes with other people. And
why don't that?
And so, but it's because he can't see his wife that way. Right?
I'm the same way, Mandy.
But so that's your problem. The men lose vision of their women being able to be those nasty freaks for them. Because now you see her as this angelic being of, well, you're a mother. You take care of the house. You have this vision of what a wife and mother is. And it's not the freak. You know what I mean? So you remove even your vision of her being that because you've now cookie cut her into, you don't want her to suck and fuck you with another woman or do all the fun things because now she's your wife. You put a ring on here we go to my issue. You put the ring on the well-respected woman, but now you're missing the fun with maybe the hawk tuah, the porn star, the freak, the side chick, the Jezebel. And your wife can be all of those things. You in your head have removed the ability for her to show up as your freak. You did that. let her be that slut for you. Slut her out. Allow her to still be all of those things that you innately want as a man. Don't sit here and just think she can't be that because now she has the ring and now she gave you your kids, that now she can't be all of those things that you desire in the bedroom.
A lot of times when I talk to a lot of men in our circles, if you will, the issue, to your point, is also she's dealing with the house, the kids, and kind of controlling the world that we're trying to create together. The issue that I think me and my wife are currently kind of going through, she's dealing with menopause, right? And when you're menopausal and, you know, she just had 2 babies, she's really trying to figure out what the hell's going on with me. I don't feel like the same girl. I'm trying to handle this world. I think for when it comes to sex, and we talk about it from a couple standpoint, and yeah, you could come up with all these spicy ways and do all these other things. I realized that during my marriage, and I'm guilty of this, I had to relearn my wife's love languages.
Oh yeah, because they change.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
They fucking change.
I'm a football player. I follow the playbook.
You know what's crazy? Oh, so back when when she used to just like the gifts and things because you were away so much. Okay, cool. But no, now actually I want acts of service. I want quality time. There's other things that now would make me enjoy you more. A lot of those things back in the day ain't gonna work.
Oh, I've learned the hard way. Oh yeah. Manny, I've learned the hard way. I thought I was putting out like my 1-2, like ha 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 ha. She's like, the Kim band that shit. Get that shit out of here.
But that's all right, Big Willie. I got you the coochie in the can to handle all that.
Yeah, I'm not doing the coochie in the can.
JJ might need to try it while she's laying beside you, just see what happens.
Yeah, I tried it and it hurts. I didn't like it at all.
It hurt? Okay, so wait. Did you put the lube inside? You know you're supposed to put lube inside of it. You didn't do that part. Okay. Willie is out here misusing Willie,
we never like nothing dry now. Come on, Willie.
He's like, it kind of hurt. Well, if you just rub rubber on your...
it's going to be like dry.
I've never had to use one. And go ahead.
Normally it comes with it, but you're supposed to put lube inside of it before you do it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I raw dogged it. Didn't feel good.
You're not. So raw dogging a fleshlight with no lube is like saying fuck foreplay. I'm gonna fit this thing on in there.
Yeah.
Mandy, I want to talk about, you guys have this prolific podcast, and also we talked about you and Weezy's relationship. Let's talk about your own relationship. How has this podcast really impacted your own relationship with your own man or anybody you're dealing with currently?
It sucks. It's
really?
It's had, and I mean, I'm talking about this right now too, right? I mean, I've been out, I was in a 3-year relationship during the pod, and we met during the pandemic. So once the world started opening up, prior to being with him, we have nicknames for our partners and our lovers and things like that. And so like having people come up and be like, is this 24/7? Like, no, calling him other names. I think too, because I'm so open about the kinks that I'm into and things like that, people automatically assume that any guy I mess with is doing those things. And that becomes an issue because yes, one of my kinks, one of the things I enjoy doing is pegging. I don't peg everybody. Really? Yes, I do. My nickname is Peg the Stallion. So I enjoy pegging, but I don't peg every single person I'm with. That's not what all of them are into. It's just something I've enjoyed, something I bring up, especially because I've only ever been with black men. I've never been with
And when
any
you
other
say
race.
pegging, explain, because a lot of people don't know what that is.
Pegging, for those listening, is me as a woman. I put on a strap on and I bend a man over and I fuck him in the ass. So that is pegging. And so, yeah, I think having those conversations, a lot of people want what they do in the bedroom to be private. And so when I'm sharing these things and now we're out together, there's this perception of that. Or if I'm sharing stories and we're out together, people like my partners are like, what do they know about me? What have you shared? What? And so that becomes a little, hard. I think also during my last relationship, we broke up a lot. And we pre-record.
Because of the podcast?
No, because he's a fucking narcissist. So he put me on ice just a lot of times. And so, mind you, I'm bringing those breakups to the pod. But we bulk record. So some of the episodes that you listen to, like the one you listened to today, We recorded that a month or so ago. And so what would happen is we'd get through that breakup, we'd be back together, but how I felt a month ago is now being put out. And so it's kind of like, I guess, what people deal with when they're on reality TV, right? We were talking about reality TV earlier. Like you're kind of rehashing those feelings and moments that you got past because now you're having to talk about it because it's brought up again. So yeah, a part of me is just like, I don't know. I'm being more picky and choosy. I am asking for consent more. Like if I do things, I'm like, can I talk about this on the podcast? I am asking
afterwards or before?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I will say that's the other thing that I've realized. Niggas are scared of me because, and I've literally been told verbatim, like, I'm scared of you. I was told that it's intimidating because, of course, if they don't perform well, they might get talked about.
Sure.
So like, there's this thing to where, and because I'm this super fucking Casanova in the bedroom, they're like, I gotta come with my A game because I see how you talk and I gotta make sure I can keep up.
What man can't think that?
I'm not gonna lie about, let's be very clear. Those nerves and anxiety brings about ED like a motherfucker, and performance anxiety is very real.
I want to ask you, what is your worst sexual experience? A story. I know you talked about it openly on the podcast, but you've talked about a plethora of stories. Is there a situation where like I never hope that happens again?
I mean, clearly I'm not gonna make it dark, so I'll keep it light. I remember there was a guy that I was talking to heavily.
Okay.
Probably for, I would say, at least 6 months. We both lived in different places. He lived in Louisiana. I was up here in New York. And we were on the same page, same vibe. He was attractive. We had sent videos. We had sexted and sent videos of all the things for months. He finally got up to New York, and I'll never forget it. I remember I told that motherfucker to bring a Gatorade and a bacon, egg, and cheese on his way up. Not asking for a lot, right? Motherfucker didn't do that. So bet. So we go down together. We got to get the fucking bacon, egg, and cheese. The two things. So I'm already like, nigga, you had one job. Okay. So he comes up, we eat breakfast or whatever, and we immediately get into it. There was zero chemistry.
Wow.
When I say zero, we couldn't catch the motion. I was kind of a little bit turned off, just like overall, his energy in person was just whack. And so I'll never forget. And we tried for a little bit, and I literally rolled over in the middle of it and was like, I'm good. You know what? I'm going to get you an Uber home. I bought his Uber.
I'd be dang.
I said, literally.
Hold on.
I'm not going to lie. It was so bad because we were so hyped up and thought, and it literally just wasn't working to where I just rolled over and I was like, this ain't working. I'm going to go ahead and get you a car home, though.
He's destroyed.
Because he didn't live here. He was visiting. And so I was like,
was it cousin of bacon, egg, and cheese?
It might have been.
Was it cousin of Gatorade and bacon, egg, and cheese?
It could have been like, my nigga, are you about to get pussy and you couldn't get me a $4.90 motherfucking bacon, egg, and cheese? It could have been. But the chemistry in the bedroom for what we had hyped it up to be, it didn't work. Like, even his dick wasn't as big as it looked in the video. It was like a regular size.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So where I thought I was getting a hammer, it was like a screwdriver.
Oh.
So just nothing. I was just like, I'm not interested.
He's destroyed, Big Willie. He'll never be the same.
I think that was the only time I didn't give a fuck about either of us coming. It just didn't. I ended it midway and was like, this ain't working.
It would have been messed up if you had told him, just don't worry about it. And you start playing with yourself and got yourself off. And
don't worry about it, sweetheart. Oh, no. I got him the car, and that was easily the last time we ever spoke.
I'm going to be honest. That sounds worse than getting cut from a professional.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no way as a man you just got tapped on the shoulder like, son, it's over.
I clear that.
Like this is. And I traveled here. I'm only here for
Yes.
you. I may have stumbled out the blocks because I didn't get you the blue Gatorade with the bacon, egg, and cheese,
But what's
salt,
crazy,
pepper, ketchup
what's
mix.
crazy is too, we kind of just, because I never like, I'm already like the type where if it's a first meet, I don't even want to be stuck and glued to you. So he did have family in Jersey that he was at least going to stay with. And we decided, you know, if we rock, you're more than welcome to stay here. But out the gate, he wasn't even staying with me. Like, it made it to where, okay, well, if you're coming up here, you can see family. I can be a stop. And if you want to stay in the city, if it work out, like, no pressure. Oh, baby, that wasn't it wasn't even an option. He ended up being in town. He ended up being in town. I think his trip was like for 4 or 5 days. We saw each other for all of that 2 hours. And that was it.
Mandii, I need you to before we let you go. First of all, thank you. You're awesome, man. You're as entertaining as I thought you would be. I want you to debunk some myths for me, if you will.
I could debunk them all. Let's go.
Is it true you could tell a man's penis size with his hand by the size of his hand
or his feet?
No, and you know why? Because now we have cameras. So what's crazy is dicks be looking real small in a big hand. And vice versa. So sometimes, like, I'll say no, but it also creates optical illusion when it's photos and videos being taken. But that is not true. And I will say, since you're an athlete, I have dealt with plenty of athletes that are above 6'5", and baby, it don't match the body. It don't match the body.
I need you to debunk another one, man.
Yes.
Does penis size matter?
You know what's crazy? That is a myth because most of my friends like average or small penises. So where people think that there's
what is average?
Average. What is it? Like, I don't know. So I'm speaking for most women because nigga, size matters to me.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
I am speaking for everybody else. I don't know. I think average is like 6 inches.
Okay. I guess I've never had one. So
I mean, so to me, yeah. I mean, for what I hear from my friends though, they don't like big dicks, and a lot of men don't even know what to do with them. You have to be warmed up a lot more. It hurts more. It can tear you more, and men just aren't patient enough with them personally. So I think when they're really big, it becomes more. It becomes less enjoyable because they don't do all the things that is needed to, rev up the engine. Like when it's cold outside, you kind of got to let the car sit to heat it up.
Yeah, you
got to do more of that if you have a bigger peen, and men just don't like the warm up stage.
Before we let you go, obviously, I want you to promo once again. You talked about the book.
Yes.
Promo everything you got going on, and I have one more question before you get out.
Oh my God, I hate that. We have 2 announcements coming, so I can't really. I know it's okay. I'll come back on
Please.
when those announcements come. But basically, right now you can catch me every Monday wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. It's WHOREible Decisions. That's right, with a W. So WHOREible Decisions, and then you can follow me everywhere on social media at Full Court Pumps.
Last question out of me for all the women out there who are listening to this, and obviously we have our wives and fans of the show. If they want to spice it up, if they want to get into kinks and they wanted to try new things, what should they be into right now to kind of spice up the bedroom?
I think everyone is into their own things. I would never tell someone to be into something, but I think the biggest thing is because we all get down these rabbit holes of these porn videos and want to try things out, I think it's not having fear of your partner's response. So I always say that is the easiest way to break the ice. Blame it on your homegirls. Send your man the porn that you want to try and be like, babe, look what just landed in my group chat. Check the temperature first. If he's not like weirded out by it and he's like, now who the hell, like, babe, what do you think about that? Is that something you would do? Like, literally test the temperature with your partner because you never know how they're going to respond. But be open to trying new things, but breaking the ice that way. Sometimes it could be a lot if you just go to a sex store and buy a crazy big sex toy and then just introduce it into the bedroom. I always say use like the use those pornos as inspiration for the things you want to try.
All right, writing that down. Mandii, man, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm really happy you came on. I really didn't think we were going to get you because I know you're so busy. You got everything going on.
Stop it.
Yes.
You're such a big wig in this podcast world.
Stop it.
To have you on our stage is awesome, man. Please come back.
Yes.
I will. Again,
And I think you made the bedroom more prosperous for us tonight. I think we don't got on it. Big Willie, we gonna go do the darn thing tonight.
I hope your wives get dick down tonight. So do.
Yeah, I'm bringing my helmet and my mouthpiece. We're getting after it tonight.
Yes.
Mandii B from WHOREible Decisions. I love you. Thank you. Many blessings to you and everything you got going on. You got fans. You got supporters. Don't stop.
Thank you.
So listen, that's a wrap. Thank you to Mandii B from WHOREible Decisions. I love her and Weezy. They do a great job. A lot to come from Mandii B. Continue to support and check her out. We will have her back. I love her, Jay. What was your thoughts about Mandii?
I love the Big Willie. I wish we could have kept her on at least 3 to 4 more hours, Big Willie. That's a conversation I can have day in, day out, night out, and never get bored, Big Willie. I really enjoyed her.
Yeah, one thing about if you listen to WHOREible Decisions, man, they get into everything. They talk about kink. They talk about sex education. They talk about relationships. They talk about their relationships, their experiences. They go anywhere and everywhere, and they do a great job of just laying it all out there. And I think that's one of the things where you have the opportunity to do so is on your own platform, on a podcast. So
Yes.
Credit them for being the face of the sexual liberation, if you will. So great job to Mandii. As always, I do want to take this time out and say this real quick. For everybody that continues to support and listen to us, hit the comments. If you have questions specifically for Jay and I about the Belle Collective, what's going on with SoGucci, what's going on with Aikisha, what's going on with us in general, or, we had a great conversation about sex education and sex, period. So if any questions you have, please hit the comment section. Check us out on Spotify and YouTube. Check us out on TikTok. Thank you, and I got to say this earnest and honestly, thank you to our lovely producer, Brittany Smith, for keeping us going, rocking, and moving forward. To everybody out there, continue to support us. We love you. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby, and stay tuned for Belle Collective this Friday, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.